NFT. So literally anything online can be an NFT. And what makes them special is we can literally track when an NFT was first minted or birthed or created, however you want to put it, all the way to where it's gone and where it's sitting now, the value that it was first traded at till the very end of time, right? We can always see whose wallet it goes to, whose hands have owned it, and everything like that. Okay. And so just to, get into it, there's a project that I love a lot that you'll see, I'll show here in a bit, but it's called Sandbox. And on that, in that economy or in that network, some people are making online museums or virtual museums, and there's an actual I forgot the name of it, but there's an actual museum that that has NFTs displayed into it in real life, right? So right now we're looking at NFTs in virtual life. So all of these pieces are NFTs. As you can see, some of them are moving, some of them aren't. Y'all can't hear it, but some of them have music in them and noises and stuff. Right? And then some of them, like I said, are just not doing anything. And so, what's happening here, okay? I think my computer just froze. All right, this thing just froze. But what's happening here is, I don't know if you're aware, but Apple and Google and Facebook, everyone's coming out with, some sort of goggles or glasses that can make your reality augmented, right? And so what that means is there's stuff that you can see within a real, how would you explain it? You can see the real world, but you can see the fake world within your glasses as well, right? Now I'll have an example of that. But that's the world that we're coming to, more of an augmented reality, virtual reality kind of world. And you can have a museum like this, okay, to where it's a virtual museum. And then also you're able to bring these NFTs into
Jordan, just really quick
real
too,
life.
Jordan, really quick, just for anyone that doesn't know, are you saying you're able to own that museum?
And so on this platform, anyone can create your own virtual little museum, and then you have to own these art pieces to stick them on the wall. So every single art piece that you see is an NFT. And so this is just one idea or one platform that's allowing you to make, or anybody make, a virtual museum. So for instance, you can go on this website right here and create your own little experience to allow anybody to log in and look at, versus like this, sandbox.game. So you're able to create a whatever you can imagine, but people are making virtual museums like that here on this space, right? So this is its own platform, and this is its own platform, but this is specifically towards flexing your NFTs, I guess you could say, displaying your NFTs to people online, whereas this one is for any experience, any kind of thing you can imagine, you can bring to life, right? So like Pranksy is a multi $1 million collector of artwork and art pieces, and that's what they're doing, is making a museum here, versus Snoop Dogg is making a virtual concert. So it's like and you can have any kind of experience here. So if that makes sense, but you're able to bring NFTs to life inside your room or a museum with something like this, tokenframe.com, right? So essentially you can display any kind of art piece that you own onto these token frames through a wallet. And so this is just, for people that are like really brand new to the space, what different routes you can take with NFTs. Because when we get to gaming, it's a whole different side. Okay, so this is just the future way of collecting art pieces and being able to show them around in your house. and it's an easier way to move pieces around. You know, you could just do it with the click of your phone rather than having to take it off the wall and put it in a different room.
Now, Jordan, let me ask this, I think, $1 million question for a lot of people, because I get it now, but I want to see if you could explain it. What, like NFTs, why would somebody go out and purchase some, or why would they purchase something for, $5 or even $100,000, $1 million, when they could take a screenshot of it and and use that picture if they want to on a screenshot?
So as far as, because this is what was being used as a social media topic, you know, Twitter's already started doing this. But when you screenshot it, it's like the same thing as copyright infringement. You know what I mean? Like, I can prove that I own it and you can't. So if people follow suit, like Twitter's doing, Twitter is now authenticating those NFT avatar pictures. You know, and I'll bring it up too, so y'all know what I'm talking about. Let me spell it: CryptoPunks. So something like this, right? So what these are for is, you know, they're avatar photos. So yes, you can screenshot this and display it, but if I own it and I see you doing that, now I can, you know, take it up with Twitter right now. And I'm sure Instagram, Facebook, other social media platforms will follow suit. But you can actually verify, you know, who owns it. So you can screenshot it and you can say you have it, but it won't say your name, who owns it, and then that whole copyright infringement thing. But this is really good for like, you know, up and coming artists, I would say, or artists that are just not good at getting their name out there or have connections. You know, marketplaces like OpenSea are so populated with people, versus you've got Bob on the side of the road that is amazing, amazing, amazing. If you make bootlegs on like something like OpenSea, and it's really, really, really close to other images, they'll get deleted. So keep that in mind, because I want to bring up that topic too, because that is a problem in this NFT space, that artists are bootlegging projects like the Bored Apes, or I've seen them on Rumble Kongs, and to where they're making those images like glitched out or like moving kind of sorta, and then they're getting deleted weeks later.
Now, does all of them have that blue check up there? Is that it? Or, and I know the answer, but I'm just asking you for anyone that doesn't know, like, does all of them have that blue checks, or some of them do, and they're not verified yet? Or how do they know if they're real or not?
So every project will get a blue check mark once their volume traded is above 100 Ethereum. And you know, it can be a, I guess, good indicator to trust the project a little more, but you know, we'll get into that to do for doing your research and stuff like that. But yeah, so you know, back on you know, this topic right here, yeah, you can have pretty much any experience that you want within any of these digital land pieces. So, to be honest, I lost my train of thought when we got into OpenSea.
No, so actually, if you want, I actually think this will be a good way to kind of go through into gaming. If you want to go to the show Sandbox, Jordan, and maybe do what game is, I can't think, what game are we, Mirandus or something like that. I think that'd be actually, or Gala. I think that'd be a perfect loophole to start it off and show them, essentially how Sandbox is in there. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So, you know, at the end of the day, we all want to make money, right? We all want to get some kind of yield and increase our net worth, I guess you could say. And NFTs can go in several different directions, right? And so yes, you know, my background comes from gaming, and going through all of that experience in the gaming world, the one thing that we never had was ownership of the items that we would spend hours and hours and hours and hours of obtaining, you know. And don't judge me if I nerd out, because I'm sure I will. But you know, one of the games that I grew up in, I do want to bring this up. So hold on, give me 2 seconds while I Google for it. But it was called RuneScape. Okay, and you know, before NFTs were even a thing, in-game purchases have always been. You know, I made my first 5 figures selling gold in RuneScape as a child, you know, in elementary school. So yes, yeah, if you can relate to RuneScape, blow that chat up, because I give my entire entrepreneurship background and development to that game. Okay, and so, you know, here's some past sales. So here's RuneScape, but here's some past sales and in-game items. Right, this planet right here sold for 6 million. So you can look at this planet kind of sort of like Sandbox. But the difference is that planet is all in one game, versus every single land plot in here can be a whole different experience, a whole different game, a whole different anything that you can imagine will be brought to life in here. You know, Binance can make its own floor exchange where you can experience floor trading virtually. Dead Mouse has its own spot. I'm sure Dead Mouse, Avenged Sevenfold, wherever they are, and Snoop Dogg, they're all going to have virtual concerts. You know, Walking Dead, AMC's Walking Dead is going to have their own game. Care Bears are going to have a Care-a-Lot Kingdom. I'm sure they're going to have a Smurf Village. You know, so any experience, you know, I'm not the creative kind of person, but any experience or any idea someone can think of will be brought to life here. And so I can see that vision. So I know big things are coming, and this is not even filled up yet. Okay, so this is something that y'all want to pay attention to as well, especially on every single wave of land that drops. This is something that won't pay you passive income yet. Yeah, we're on here. Here's DCX.
And Jordan, how do they buy land? Can they buy it from Sandbox.com, OpenSea, or how does that work?
So it's actually easier now than ever. But you can buy it on third party, which you can come on here and go to any of these white boxes, and you'll see in the I guess I gotta sign in, but you'll see well, it won't let me log in, but you would see how much the Ethereum was on the bottom right. It'd pull up down here how much each plot costs, but for some reason it's not picking me up.
And just while you're doing that, so you guys, this is what actually really got me. Now, I was talking to Jordan. I heard a lot about Sandbox. I didn't understand what it was, and what ended up happening is what he just said right now. He said, you know, there's not really, you know, like there's not really a way you can make passive income on, or you can make passive income on there. I can't remember what he just said, but there's not there. You have to find a way to make it passive on there because it's digital real estate, right? And when I understood that it was like owning a house inside the Sandbox, my next thing I was kind of asking Jordan was okay, how do you how can I make a passive income and I started understanding how, you know, the NFTs work. So if you look at each one of these places as a mall or as a house and they're selling the merchandise in there, and you look at, for example, the museum he was showing you earlier, people are able to click on that, and then whatever you see inside of there, every single thing you see is owned. Someone owns that real estate. Someone owns the NFT or the a piece of clothing on there, or the video game, which we're going to get into in a little bit. And that's where I opened my eyes. And when Jordan and you know, Jordan started talking about passive income, that's what really triggered me. But anyways, Jordan, you can go back into how to buy it. But I just wanted you guys to understand where I kind of really started diving in here heavily was when the passive income possibility came up.
Yeah, so this is what's going to end up happening. Slowly, everything is going to be sold. Okay, the same thing in real life. There's going to be more valuable plots of land versus less valuable plots of land. For instance, I'm sure everyone's going to want to be next to Snoop Dogg versus everyone wanting to be next to the Smurfs. You know what I mean? So obviously, more people are going to pay more to be next to Snoop Dogg. So what's going to end up happening is eventually this sells out, and if demand keeps going up, there's no more supply. And so now you have people that are going to be wanting to buy up plots and they can't get them, or maybe they're cost too much. And so they're going to rent them from you. Okay. And the amount of space equals how big your game can be or how big your experience can be. Right. So it's like this little box right here is not going to be as big as this box. Okay. And so slowly but surely, what's going to end up happening is the supply is going to shrink, demand's going to go up, because all it takes is one successful experience or one successful game to hit it off inside this space and bring their entire community. Now you've got you've got big boy companies that are like, okay, well, Atari just made an amazing game that's creating insane amount of returns inside this. Well, I want to, get a piece of land. Okay, well, they're all sold out. So obviously I got to pay third party and pay premium prices to get in. Or if it costs too much, pay rent. And that's how you can make royalties through here. One thing, this all depends on you, because I can show you several different ways to really monetize this, but this all depends on you and where your net worth is and how much money you can risk, right? Because some NFTs are hold and wait. Some NFTs are hold and passive income. Some NFTs are hold real fast and flip off of hype. Some NFTs can fail. At the end of the day, we just don't know. But if you're somebody who doesn't have much money to play with, obviously you don't want to just pick a few projects and just hold, and now you have nothing to play with. I hope that makes sense, because it's true. At the end of the day, we don't know which projects are going to make it and which projects are going to fail. There's a high probability we can pick good projects that are going to be around, that have great innovation, that are doing something different, that aren't copy and paste 10,000 images of crap, right? Something like this. It was innovation. It was so different, never seen before. When I first started buying it, I would say like 30% of the land was sold. Like they just started selling up here and only this middle spot was sold. So I saw all of this get filled in.
And Jordan, if I were to come in right now and let's just say I see that that trade house box down there, hypothetically, if I were to come in here right now and I said I want to buy that trade house block of land, what would that block go for?
So the highest I've seen a 24 by 24 sell for is 2 million. The highest I've seen a 12 by 12 sell for is 600,000. The highest I've seen a 6 by 6 sell for is 125,000. And the highest I've seen a 3 by 3 sell for is honestly in the 50,000s. And then the singles I've seen sell for $600 to 4,000. Right. And then singles, you can put them together. So let me find some. I'm not even logged in, so I freaking can't. So it's like if you come on here, and you start there's these 3 plots, right, are for sale. These 3 white plots, these 3 light plots are for sale. these 3 white plots are for sale. And so essentially you can buy 9 together and then fuse them together and make one big plot. And so that's what's going to end up happening in the future. I promise y'all. You know, games are going to be created, experiences are going to be created nonstop. People are going to end up buying the singles to stick them together to make bigger plots. For instance, look at all this purple. Someone owns that purple. See all of, I believe someone owns all this too. Yeah, Coin Check right here. Coin Check owns this. They like own all of this. You know, so it's like buyouts are going to start happening. The lessing of supply that happens because they need bigger spots to do whatever they're going to do. You know, and like I said, I'm not a creative person, but I can see the vision of where this is going. And if you really want to see this game, this technology is made in like Minecraft kind of sort of, but more advanced. And so the example I like to show is go on YouTube, type in Minecraft Hogwarts, and you can just see people are making the exact replica of Hogwarts from Harry Potter in Minecraft form. So if they can do that, I can only imagine what's going to happen here. You know, Atari wants to make a casino. They already have a casino in Decentraland. They're going to make a casino here. So instead of you going on to some website and gambling blackjack or whatever, you're going into a 3D casino on here and gambling blackjack next to a bunch of other avatars.
And now, really quick, so I like what was asked in the chat room, and I'm actually going to give my opinion on this question, and then I'm actually going to have you answer it too, Jordan. And the question more so is, so if I have $1,000, can I get a single and just keep stacking it up? And then seems like a good game plan for the average person. Can you talk about it? Now, what I personally believe on this is, I like Sandbox. First of all, Sandbox is going to give you essentially the basics of when it comes down to the ins and outs of blockchain gaming, and it gives you the overall vision of what it is that everybody is essentially doing with blockchain gaming and kind of how it works. Now, me personally, again, I don't know what Jordan's going to say on this, but if I have $1,000 and that's all I have right now, I don't know if I would personally go into buying real estate right now, or Sandbox right now, specifically because I'm not going to get a return on investment right away. Sandbox is more of a long-term play where, just like if you wouldn't buy a house and sell it the next day, right? So Sandbox is more so is if you were to buy a house and you wait a couple of years and then you sell it. Now, my thing is that's why that's going to take us kind of into why I really started liking going more inside the video games and inside the real estate to own little bits and pieces. But me personally, I think that there's better things you can do with $1,000. Jordan, do you want to piggyback off of that? And if I'm wrong, Jordan, tell me I'm wrong in front of everyone.
Oh yeah, you're completely wrong.
Oh, that's lit.
No, I'm just kidding. So I agree 100%. It's, if you only have 1,000 and you have no more money coming in, then what you're doing here is you're parking X amount of money, $1,000, whatever, and you're sitting on it. We can end up going through a bear market in crypto. We don't know. Crypto can absolutely explode. We don't know. If we do go into a stagnating market, a declining market, you're going to be able to get more out of your 1,000 in here. The same thing that there's market cycles in everything, there's market cycles in here. And so, yeah, if you only had 1,000, that was it. You'd be literally parking your money for, months and months, years and years. Because you're waiting. If you want to have the maximum yield off of this project, you're waiting for everything to sell out. Now there's no supply. Now you're waiting for games and experiences to really start going off and taking off. And then that's when you capitalize, and so I wouldn't use the $1,000 here. Now, if you were here at the beginning, yes, because plots of land were like $50. But yeah, so we can get into the next form of NFTs, because this is just one platform for land. essentially. Okay.
And then let me go in here on this part too. Now, you guys, anyone knows that, you know, my mentality is obviously we want to keep this income moving, right? And you know that's why cash flow is such a big deal. And you know that's why it's funny because a lot of people that know me and Jordan are like best friends, and this has been years now. And a lot of people are like traders and builders and blah blah blah, and we get along very well, obviously. And you know, so my thing is that one thing that me and Jordan are investing every day. Just so you guys know, we're always buying something every day. It's actually insane. It's actually disgusting how much money we invest every day. And it's my point though is that one thing we always talk about is how can we get more cash flow, even with the amount of money that we're making right now. We're still wanting to get more streams so we can invest more. See, what a lot of people are wanting to do is they're wanting to, you know, you take the job money or whatever, and of course that's really smart, right? To start investing, but you want to find the right things to invest in while you also want to make sure you're getting a strong passive income up. And that's exactly why, you know, we're doing this call right now, is because it's going to give you, we're trying to find a good way to start you guys off. But at the same time, we want to take you with obviously the company and IM, etc., and teach you what it is that we're doing. But you got to have a strong cash flow, or a started cash flow. That way you can start diversifying and getting into other investments. That way you're not spending $1,000 and then you're stuck. Okay. So you want to have a disposable income. And yeah, that's what kind of where I'm at right there. And then what that will lead us into something smaller. Like I see he has Axie Infinity pulled up, and I know that's what a lot of you guys are wanting to hear about. I'm going to stop right there, and Jordan, you can take off right there from there, or from me.
Yeah, the you know, the one NFT spot that I would get into if I had $1,000 or less and that was it, would be VV on your smartphone. It doesn't matter if it's iPhone or Android or whatever, but VV is just an easy source of money at the moment. And I do want to put that out there. You know, right now we're in that bubbly stage of NFTs, right? So it's really easy to hit at the moment, but don't get blinded to holding the wrong stuff, right? Because not everything will survive on pullbacks. Okay, it's very. I'll put it out there. I said this on Go Live for DCX. You know, it's super easy for anybody here to create an NFT. It's really easy for you to go and pay 15, 20, 25K for an artist to make 10,000 whatever you want to make, little boxes, little different kind of boxes, and sell them, you know. So tons of people are doing that. It's really easy to go pay an influencer tons of money to promote your NFT, right? You want to get behind, you know, people that you believe can actually go somewhere, a team that can actually go far, especially in this gaming environment. So yeah, just like someone said, utility, you want that utility. So yeah, VV super easy. You know, people are flipping $7 to 3, 4,000, 40,000, 50,000, depending on the comic in that example. It's super easy to really get off the ground, you know, because eventually it's going to get to the point to where you can flip projects, and now you have working capital. If you don't know what VV is, it's an augmented reality NFT app. And so you're able to I wish I had a photo. Well, I can actually send that. Bear with me 2 seconds. But it's an augmented reality app essentially. And so what they're wanting to do is create a metaverse to where we can play with these NFTs. And so the cool thing is they're licensed with brands, you know, so they're licensed with DC, they're licensed with Marvel, they're licensed with Cartoon Network, they're licensed with, you know, a bunch of people. And so I already see in the chat, so many people are already using it. They're already talking about the drop in the morning. And it's just an easy way to get off the ground in your portfolio, because that's the goal. You know, once you really get off the ground, you can park money in Sandbox, you can scale in Axie, what we're about to talk about in a second. But I do believe VV is the easiest project to flip and make money at the beginning. And so here's Mojo Jojo out in augmented reality hanging out on toilet paper, and then here's a Batman hanging out with my pug.
Grandpa.
Yep. And so you can just flip those, right? That Batman was paid for $75. It goes for like 6,000-7,000 now. And that Mojo Jojo, I don't remember what it costs, but I know it sells for like 500-600, I think.
So Jordan, really quick, just to confirm, really for anyone that you know, just to confirm, and this was actually one of my questions I wanted to make sure I asked you. If I'm coming in, I have, you know, a couple, let's just say $200, $300 that I'm willing to, you know, invest. Would you start in VV if that's where you were at right now?
I think VV would be the first thing that I would dabble in, or I would at least set like $100 in that app, because you can buy like they're dropping a lot of Marvel comics right now. You can buy that for $6.99. Well, if you get it doesn't matter what comic you get, you can at least double your money. You know, the regular comics that you get are like $12-13 after the drop. Only 30,000 people will get the drop, so it's a race. That's what brings that hype in people paying over third party, or paying overpriced for third party, is because of the hype, right? But then there's people, like a ton of people hit it all the time within the company, those secret rares for the comics, and they sell for, you know, 1,500 to 50,000. So VV would be the first one because it doesn't cost much to get started.
So if you were to, if you and sorry, I know we need to move on to Axies here too, but if my last question on this too is, if I really want to help the average person out, or you know, people are really coming in here right now that, you know, might not have a lot of money. If you were to come in here right now, what I would say, let's just say, okay, you get on VV, you buy an NFT, you get one of the drops. Would your goal be to flip it as fast as possible, or how do I know what the most efficient way to, the efficient length for me to hold on to my VV? How do I know how long I should hold on to it? When should I sell it? How can I figure that out?
So, all right. So, you know, this gets into when you're minting projects, you know, and you might not be able to do this at the beginning, but that first VV drop that you get, depending on what it is, you know, you need more working capital, so sell it. But eventually it gets to the point to where your capital is raising, right? Now you have this abundance of gems that are sitting in your app, right? And you're wanting to cash out and sell them. Well, it's like you start rotating money around, you know? So it's like, if all you have is $100 in VV at the beginning and you hit one comic, you can either have double, so now you have 14 from that purchase, or you can end up having a couple hundred more, a couple thousand more, and now you can really, you know, rotate and stuff like that. There's people that are using multiple devices to get multiple drops, so now you have multiple things. So it just all depends on you and that plan. Of course, if you can grab more than one, so, you know, for instance, these Kongs, right? I minted those because they were doing a 3v3 play to earn basketball game.
What's minted mean? They're not gonna know what
minted means created.
Okay.
And so, you know, I got a bunch of them. Well, I don't know if this project's gonna flop. So off the hype you sell some, eventually you end up you getting your money back and you're breaking even. That's always the goal, right? Don't get out of the mindset of I'm just going to hold on to this long term. You want to be able to break even so you can get rid of that evil person in your head that's telling you to do a bunch of stuff that you don't want to do because of fear. So you want to be into that that motionless state of thinking, and
And
so
you guys know too. I want you guys to understand, Jordan. Am I allowed to? So there, I'll hit Jordan up, you guys, with a pretty big investment. Let's just say a car or two. Let's just say that. No income claims. Results not typical. But I'm talking about overnight. I'll hit up Jordan. Might be 2 a.m. and I might see something, and I'll be like, "Yo, yo, does this look good?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's do it right now." And I'm telling you guys, I'm talking about like car sizes. Okay, you guys get what I'm saying? We'll drop like 2 cars on something in seconds because we're not emotionally attached to our money. And I just want you guys to understand, and just so you guys know too, there's been several times, a lot of times where I'll actually ask Jordan, like Jordan might have a whole bunch of stuff in Ethereum or on a different type chain, and I have to ask Jordan for like 20K, 30K. Love you. And I'll be like, "Yo, can you buy that for me?" And he has his front me 30K. And just think about how emotionally detached he has to be to spot me that much money just like that. And I just want you guys to understand how disconnected that Jordan is from his money. I'm sorry, Jordan. I just thought that was important to go off of.
Yeah, and it takes time. It's like at the beginning you'll be more conservative with your decisions, and then all of a sudden you're floating in profits, so you're able to move more freely. But at the end of the day, in all of these projects, you always want to stay in like a break-even form. But yeah, I see people are. Well, we'll get into it. We'll get into Axie. I know I keep going off of it. Seems like that's what everyone wants to talk about. So, I'll go ahead. I'll throw it all out there. What I do, and it's really easy to just copy and duplicate it. But before I do, we must show this. Okay, so chart wise, right? Is it too late to get into Axie? If you're getting into Axie now, okay, the one thing that you need to keep an open mind to is you are preparing for their next wave of games coming out, because the problem that Axie Infinity has currently is that they don't have a way of getting rid of Axies at the moment. They already have a plan to get rid of them. And so what I mean by that is, the difference between like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or anything like that, we as customers are used to going inside stores and buying the card packs. Well, this takes a different approach. Customers like you and I, we are the card creators here. We're breeding to make specific Axies. How the company makes their money is they take a 4.5% off of all sales in the marketplace. Okay. And so the problem with that is that there's becoming an abundance of Axies. And so what they're going to do is they're going to make a way to where we can release them for different items, or we can put them all together, or we put 3 together and make like a super Axie, right? And so it'll be like another game play. And so what I mean by all that is that's what you need to be in preparation for, because SLP can range in here. It really can. If crypto was to go down, AXS would go down, SLP would go would go down in range and stuff like that, right? So it's like you just got to be mentally prepared. This is what you're getting into. And so now your objective in Axie is to make the best teams find the best players and have them be the highest MMR, which is, or ELO, or your ranking, because the higher you are in ratings. Let me see if I can find my.
And let me just, and I'm gonna go piggyback. So you guys, let me explain kind of essentially, first of all, on Axie, so you guys kind of understand like what SLP is, etc. Right. So first of all, Axie, right, obviously is the name of the game. Now, what an Axie is those are going to be NFTs that are also characters or what is it called? Players in the game. Okay. You need 3 Axies to make a team. Now, here's the most important thing I want you guys to understand. I want you to think about this blockchain gaming. Think about it like a football game, right? I want to say there's 52, or I'm sorry, how many teams are in the NFL? Is it 32 teams in the NFL, right? Now, my thing is think about it like this. Imagine if you were to own, or I'm sorry, Madden were to come out and say, we want to get into blockchain gaming. Well, what would end up happening would be is now Madden would say, we're going to make it to where our players can also own part of the game. So think about it like this. The way Axies is working is, let's just say you wanted to own Emmitt Smith, right? You could buy Emmitt Smith, for example, and own Emmitt Smith. Now, anytime that somebody wants to, let's just say they have to win the game to get played, anytime that someone wants to use Emmitt Smith because he's a really good player, right? They have to pay you to rent him out because you own Emmitt Smith inside Madden. And so you can sit there and own multiple things. Now, the issue that Jordan's speaking about is, now let's just say there was an inflation of teams. Let's just say instead of there being 32 teams in the NFL, let's just say there was an infinite amount of teams. And the problem would be is there's not value, or there's not going to be as much demand for it because there's not a limited supply. And so what Jordan's saying is there's so many Axies. There's so many Axies or so many NFL football players inside of this game, if you guys understand what I'm saying, that it's losing, they're losing their value. So what they have to do is find a way to start limiting them. Hopefully that makes sense. And Jordan, if you want to go off of that, sorry.
Yeah. So, so the only way SLP prices are going to be stable with where they are is breeding has to continue, right? If y'all want to get into the tokenomics part, we can save that. Or we can get into like the breeding, how to do it. But remember when I said we're the ones creating the cards? Okay, we're the ones. If I was to give you my opinion on everything that I think, it'd probably scare you. But the point of this, Axie is like the Bitcoin of blockchain gaming. It was the first project that really boomed. It gave a lot of focus into their scholarship program, right? So, this isn't going away, but they change their tokenomics so much, okay? And so it's just being ready for, I don't even know what Alien Wars is, TLM. I don't know what that means. So I can't give you an opinion. I'll look it up and maybe I can talk about it on Thursday and I'll get the opinion on it. But, my honest opinion with what's going on here, and Cash, we sniped that sell for SLP, but my thoughts here is, I do think we're going to range for a while. If crypto goes into a bear market, I bet you anything, Axie will delay the release of their next games and stuff, you know? So it's like, it's being ready for all scenarios. But your goal at the end of the day is to have the best teams for the cheapest prices. And the only way to create the best teams for the cheapest prices is from breeding. And breeding takes one AXS. Okay. And, you know, when I look at this, you know, I see a bunch of potential in pullbacks. Okay. But it takes one AXS, and I have no idea SLP. It's changed. It's gone up. So let's find out. Axie breeding guide. See if they have the new one. Is this the new one? I think, yeah, it definitely is. Okay. So every time you breed an Axie, SLP is going to go up in price. Okay. And so for one Axie, it costs 1,200 SLP and one Axie or one AXS. Right. And so I think on average, that's like $200 an Axie, something about that, maybe 195, 190. I don't really know off the top of my head. But what I do, okay, what I do is I come on, I hope don't have it. Okay, I go to axie.zone. And I'll copy people. So I'll go to the leaderboard. And I'll look at the top 100 teams, because obviously if they can get to the top 100 with this team, so can any other player. I just got to find a good player. And if they're not a good player, they're fired. Okay. And so what you do is you go through here and you go one by one. And you're looking for a team that is easy to duplicate. And what I mean by that is, how easy would it be for you to find this tank that has these 4 cards and like bug eyes, right? And so I'm not going to go into super detail on like the cards and the body parts and all of that. It's really easy to use Google, but I will tell you a strategy. Okay. And so what you're doing is you're doing research. You're going to come into here and you're going to go to the marketplace, for example, and we're going to look up this person right here. So click on it. You look up these body parts. Okay, so I'm going to do it over here so it's faster off the screen. And y'all can do it too if y'all have multiple tabs or anything like that. But you go into the marketplace, you type, you get plant, you make your, let's do it first time. You go to plant, you make your breed count 0, and then we start typing in the body parts. Okay, so this is Biden's zigzag beach, whatever the hell that is. Soon. Okay, I feel like that's a new card. I've never even seen that before. But you know, here you go. And so as you can see, these are freaking expensive. Okay, but you're able to you know, maybe you can go and you can find an Axie with say these 3, right? And so now it's cheaper. And then I can go and I can find another one. Okay, so now we're back to the expensive one, but let's take out say this. Okay, and so now it's cheaper, right? But if I can line the breeding together to where I can high probability pop a zigzag, Biden, beach, and that hat soon or whatever it is, if I can pop that, then essentially I just saved a bunch of money. And so that's your goal. Your goal is to create teams as cheap as possible, but the best teams. And when you create good teams, they hold value. Okay. So perfect example, I'll give you what I was doing. Okay, the tank, you're not even gonna be able to probably find it on the marketplace. I had to create it myself. And so it was Cute Bunny. I already forgot. Hold on, let me go here.
And then you guys, just so
Here
you
we go.
know, so a team is going to be three.
Caterpillar, pumpkin, carrot.
A team is going to be 3 axes together, right? And so what he's doing is he's picking the traits on, which is going to dictate how good those axes are and how good that team is, and all these other things. But a team is 3 axes, and one player or one actual person in real life is going to play that team. And then what we do is we then hire someone to play those 3 axes for us, or that one team for us, and we make a residual income or a passive income off of one team. Now, what Jordan is going over right now is breeding, where you could go on here and buy them at an expensive price, or what you could do is maybe buy something, one team, one time for an expensive price, and you can breed them together for cheaper. And you can also create a breeding farm where, since you're breeding them together for cheaper, you can sell them off because they're NFTs, right? So now you're able to hold on and make a passive income from the NFTs that you do have. And then the ones that you don't want, you are then able to sell them as assets as well. So now your NFTs are creating you a passive income. And at the same time, you're also able to sell them for a profit if you don't want them anymore. Now, the reason why we're going over this is because an average person can get up to maybe 1, 2, 3 teams and starting to scale and start producing yourself a passive income. And when I say a passive income, me, Jordan, and a couple of people, I want to say other people in the trade house are on here, are making quite a bit of money, 6 figures from this. So you guys can make a passive income from this as well. But go on, Jordan. I just want to kind of summarize a little bit.
Yeah. So, if you're wanting to do this as a business like that, that's you're basically running your own esports organization. You're the manager. Your job is to recruit good players. You make good teams, you recruit good players, you make them climb the ladder, you get paid. But this is the Axie that I have, right? They don't really exist. Okay. And so what I had to do is create this bad boy. And so what I would do is I would take, I'd find one like this, right? So it'd be Cute Bunny, Pumpkin, Carrot. And then I would get the caterpillar, and I'd breed those together. So basically, one line would be carrot, carrot, carrot. The other one would be carrot, carrot, carrot. One would be pumpkin, pumpkin, pumpkin. The other one would be pumpkin, pumpkin, pumpkin. But then I would have a cute bunny, cute bunny, blah, blah, blah. And then the other one would be caterpillar, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd fuse them together, and hopefully they would pop. Where'd it go? Hopefully they'd pop this. Or I think it's this one too. Yeah. So hopefully they'd pop that, right? So I had to make these. But that's the thing. I created this. If I wanted to go back and sell it now, it held value. It's not worth $200, $190, $170 because I made cheap Axies. Instead, I made expensive Axies, rare Axies, to where my team is great. This is a top 100 team. This is exactly how I found it. I went to here and I found someone in the top 100 that had that team. And so I made it. I made this person, and then I made this person, and I made this person. These two were very easy. As you can see, look at them. One is Koi, Goldfish, Oranda, Cute Bunny. The other one is Nemo, Goldfish, Oranda, Cute Bunny. So what's the difference? The tail on the end. So I can breed these two together, and as long as a Nemo or a Koi pops out, then everything else lines up. I can easily start a farm with these two aquas. They're essentially the same thing. The hard one was this one. But what I'm doing is I'm creating Axies that hold value so I can come in there and sell them whenever I want. That's the nugget part. Like, that's what you have to do. What do you mean by what team by? Oh, you're talking. Okay, that's you. Okay. And so, you know, this is the other one, right? So I showed you the plant. Okay, so here's the aqua. So I want Cute Bunny, Nemo.
This isn't on VV. You guys ask your questions in the chat, by the way. You know what I mean. And as Jordan's going, I'll you know what I mean. If you guys need help on anything, but this isn't on VV. VV, we're just showing you guys different routes. Axie is pretty much a standalone.
Here, I'll answer that because I get asked that a lot. It's super easy. And then we'll go back into this.
How do you split prog?
So I'm gonna drop the link. No more chatting. I'm gonna drop the link and how I sell gems and shit. Hold on.
How are your profits split between team owners and players? Because I'm playing for someone right now. It depends on how good you're doing. The way me and Jordan do it is we go by performance. So for example, 100 if 150 SOP, if you're doing that on average, for example, that'd be about 50-50 payout. Over if you do over 200 SOP a day on average, then we do 60. We give them 60. We take 40. If you do below 150 SOP, we take I think 40%, and so on. So it just kind of depends on how it is, but that's a great question. But we judge it pretty much off the 150 SOP mark.
Yeah, okay. And so the link I just posted in the Zoom, that link. So I sell gyms third party, you know. So it's like the average easy to sell them right now is like one gym equals 80 cents to 90 cents. You can wait for them to get their license. I don't. I sell out every now and then. But it's very easy. And all you do is you go into the members of that chat and you look for the trusted escrow person. Please don't be scammed. They don't scam. The people who make fake names that look very similar to them scam. And so that's what you're doing is you're joining that group that I posted in the chat. Go to the members and look for the trusted escrow people. One person that I use a lot is Yuchi Walla or whatever. This person. Okay, and so I like her to be my middleman just so I don't get scammed. Yeah, Yuchi's the GOAT. Yeah, so that's the easiest way to TP your gyms. So it's really easy to get your money out of there. Yeah. Okay. But back with Axie. So here is the what's it, goldfish? Is that it? Yep. So here it is, right? And so, you know, I want something like this, okay? And for breeding, I don't want this, but for playing, I do want this. And so, you know, if I was to pick an Axie that I would want for breeding, it would be this one's fine. This one's fine. But okay, so you know, some of these are a little sloppy. And so you see, if I was to use this, right? So it says Nemo, Feather Fan, Koi, Goldfish, 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 Oranda, whatever, Oranda, Cute Bunny, Risky Fish, Risky Fish. Okay, so the goal is to have a child, either Nemo or Koi, Goldfish, Oranda, Cute Bunny, and then Blue Eyes. That's the goal. And so if I was to use this for breeding, then I need more help in canceling out Feather Fan and canceling out the U word, Unco, or whatever that is. right? So I would want Nemo, 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 or Koi, 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 or something. So like this, Nemo, Nemo, Nemo cancels that out. That's perfect. Oranda, Oranda makes Oranda Unku, Oranda awesome. Like that has more probability now of popping Oranda. And then goldfish, you see how this one has goldfish, 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 and then this one has goldfish, blah, 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 blah. Well, there's still good hot probabilities that I can get goldfish. So breeding these two together would be good. This one can do it too, but it's just less probability because now there's risky beast and lagging and ant in the way. You know, this one is also good as well, but I wouldn't use it to play it. If I was going to breed with it, I'd breed with it and sell it back because I don't want curved spine.
And then
Same thing
Jordan,
with what?
can you and can you show them also like just show them the teams and essentially what they're working towards, like the what is it, Axie beer, and just also show them essentially, okay, these are how many teams I have, and that way they can kind of see what they're looking, get a visual of what they're looking for.
Yeah, so this is your management platform. I like to use Axie.watch. I got away from Axie beer, but there's like 4 of them out there or whatever. But anyway, this tracks. Here, we can just do it together. Okay, so this tracks everybody's performance, right? And so if they're low, they're doing 120, 110 SLP a day, I fire them, right? So these accounts have been fired, all the ones in red. They're actually been sold off. So they were like bad accounts. Oh, what is that? Oh, cool. I'm gonna go and sell that one.
And so you guys, what we're doing too is, so he has about 30 plus 38 teams. It looks like somewhere around there, 40. And it shows you how much SLP is making, right? And then obviously it shows you the equivalent. So SLP is going to be about 7 cents. I want to say 7 cents per SLP. So you just do the math. I see it at 207 a day. It shows it to be 1463, for example. So you're making maybe, 1463, $15 a day on a team that's doing fairly decent, right? And that's what we're doing. And we're getting that to add up. So you start getting a team that's making $15 a day. Then all of a sudden it's $30 a day, $100 a day. And we start scaling, we start reinvesting our teams back into Axies and duplicating, making more teams. Now, there's somewhere I was going with that. Oh, and so what we're doing is we're hiring people overseas in the Philippines, etc. They're willing to take obviously a smaller cut because it's life changing for them. We're changing their lives, and then on top of that, we're making a passive income. We're also getting involved in the NFT market, and then we're also pretty much kind of having a trade as well. That's what Jordan was saying. We kind of sniped the market, but go on, Jordan.
Yeah. So remember what I said earlier. Our goal is to make the best team as cheap as possible, and we were looking at Axies that cost $600, $700, $800, right? So obviously, if you were to buy 3 Axies for the average of what I was just saying, $700, okay, costing $2,100 a team, that doesn't really sound fun, right? Divide that out by, let's go off of these numbers. This is good. So if this person kept making what they're doing, and they will, this person's very good, you're making about $470 a month off of them, but you're only keeping whatever you pay out. So in this case, I get 40%, so I'm making $188 a month, right? Well, we just talked about a team costing $2,100. That's really not cool. That's awful, right? But if you were to do it in the way that I was saying, if we can do it from breeding, and we can breed out and make those good teams for $200 in Axie, now we can make our money back in 3 months. That's awesome, right? And so that's the goal. So, this is something that will take work. Like it really will. If you come in here and don't do your research and don't really study what's going on or really take the breeding part serious and like breaking all of that down, and it's really easy to figure out, it really is, um you're going to be punished in your ROI, right? Because that's the goal at the end of the day, is to make the best teams cheap as possible, and you can go back and you can sell the teams later and they hold their value. Okay. And so, at the beginning, it could cost a good amount of money, especially if you want to do it the right way. Because you're essentially getting two identical teams in this way, right? So we're going through here, we're picking out whatever team that we can find the cheapest in twos. And so what I mean is, we want to find an easy team. This is the leaf bug tank. Yep. We want to find the cheapest team that we can buy two of each. So our goal is to buy two of these, two of these, two of these that pair together so that we can breed them and then use them. Because you can either do two things, right? You can buy these in twos, breed them together. They have 3 kids. So now you have 5 teams, but then you can sell the parents back. And so now you have 3 teams of kids, all virgins. And if they all pop the right way, then you win. Right. But that's the goal at the end of the day, is you come on here, you do your research, you find cheap teams that are good, and then you make breeding farms around them. And that's what I did. My first day, I put 3,000 in. I bought 2 teams that were identical. I bred them out. Now I have 5 teams. Okay. And then I did that again. Right. So I put another 3K in. Right. And this is just me. Did the same thing, but I was a noob then. And so what I really started doing is, after that, I came on this website and I was like, okay, what are the top, I'll just show you from here. What are the top things that people are making? Right. Cause this is my first team that I got. And so I bred those. This is the second one. And I bred them together and I started making a bunch of trash, to be honest. Right. And so then what I started figuring out was, a bunch of people on this website, a bunch of people have these leaf bug tanks. So I started to farm around this leaf bug tank right here. And so then what I started doing was I started making teams with these leaf bug tanks. Where are you? Right, those leaf bug tanks.
Guys, I just really want you to understand this. For anyone that's really getting started on, in NFTs and blah 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 blah, this route here is such a good route to get started for a lot of you, because you can take this money that you're making passively from Axies, etc., and start. So what me and Jordan will do is we have all these different streams coming, and we're not even using our own money anymore. What we'll do is we'll take our streams of income from Axies, for example, and we might use it to go buy Vivi, or we might use it to go buy something else in another video game. And now we have another disposable income that's involved. And now we're not even worried about our IAM money. We're using different money, right? And so I just want you guys to understand that if you really come in here and learn this, this could be a way to help fund your trading account. It can be a way to help fund your other investments when it comes to this, help you scale your blockchain business, right? Help you grow inside Axie Infinity as well, etc. But this can be very life-changing if you do learn how to do this.
Here, yeah, we'll blow their mind right here. All right. So, at the end of the day, all of us, all we want to do, we want to be free, right? We want to make money. We want passive income. Okay. Well, this is something that I posted on my social media, and it blew my mind too. I don't know what it was, but I randomly went and Googled the average median income for the United States. And I think the medium income is like 32 or 36K, but the higher end medium is like 52,000 or 54,000 a year, right? So 52,000 a year, 12 months, that's $4,033 a month. Okay. So 433 divided by $600, that's 7.22 streams of income, $600 a month. I want you to ask yourself, how easy is it to make $600 a month? How many different ways do you think you can? Because I can tell you a ton of different ways for $600 a month. And all of them are not 600 a month. It might be a minimum of 600 a month, right? And so when you start thinking like that, so many avenues can open up. Okay. So for instance, I bet you anything you can make $600 a month from flipping VV NFTs. There's like a ton of people doing it right now. You can hit Plat 600. You can make $600 a month from Axie. It's very easy. It's so easy. People are neglecting doing other things because of Axie, and that's something else to talk about. You know, when you have income coming in that's easy, don't be a bum and take advantage of that. Use it as an opportunity to scale. Okay, I'll repeat that again. Don't be a bum because you're easily making money over here in this one sector. Use that to scale. Take advantage of that. Okay. So where were we at? 3. You can make $600 a month trading, and I'm talking about not just trading Forex. You can do it trading crypto, stocks, Forex. Super easy. 600 a month. Okay. We can make $600 a month with Gala. We haven't even talked about that. We can make $600 a month off of yield nodes. We haven't even talked about that. You can make $600 a month off of flipping other NFTs. Right? I already lost track of thought. I think we're at 3,600, but y'all get my point. It's super easy to buy income. It's very easy to create these passive sources. And so, you know, I'll add this in there too, and then you can say what you're gonna say. You know, when things are all going well in whatever you're doing, because we're all in entrepreneurship, right? There's seasons in everything we do in entrepreneurship. There's always ups and there's always downs. But the one thing that majority of people do wrong is when everything is going well, they go buy dumb shit. Right? When everything is going well, be aggressive in investing, be aggressive in starting up other streams of income. Just be aggressive in that way, because in doing that, what you're doing is you're building a base of multiple sources of income, and you can survive any winter that's thrown at you. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, because it's worked wonders for me. But yeah, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, and then I want to take it through just a little bit further past this, and then answer like any questions that anyone has, and then on anything we went through. But you guys, simplistically, when it comes to Axies, right, you're gonna, no matter what, you guys, this is not something that me and Jordan can go teach you on one call. It's something that if you want to, I'm telling you right now, if you're someone that's new, etc., when it comes to NFTs and you want to get started with a passive income, this is a very, very good way. It's a way I know I would start working up to. Now, my thing is, you guys, is that, like Jordan said, you want to make sure that you're thinking correctly. You don't want to be a bum and just come in here and just be like, you know what, let me just grow an Axie team and then, you know, do nothing. You know, we have multiple streams coming from this, but if you guys, you know, to keep it simplicity on Axies, you need 3 teams. You need 3 Axies. 3 Axies makes a team. You need to hire somebody, which that's it. You can learn how to do that. It's very easy to hire someone in the Philippines to do that. And then all you're going to do is, as you start making money from Axies, you take the money. Let's just say you wind up making another $700 that comes from the Axies now, right? From your first team, and you now go buy another team with it. Now that that $700 is going to come faster because you have two teams. You scale it, you get another team, and then another one. Then you take that income and say, you know what? Let me diversify my income, and you get another one. But simplistically, all we're doing is we're buying an Axie team, and we're setting up. You have to get your broker account, MetaMask, Ronin account, etc. Wire Ethereum over there. You can learn all of this right later on. But you're going to have to do your due diligence as well. I want you guys to understand that even when it comes to Jordan, who helps me with a lot of things, I don't just sit there and ask him I do ask him dumb questions, but he knows I'm doing my research. I'm not just sitting there having him walk me through everything. And I think that's so important for all of us to really get that, is that I have someone in my back pocket that will answer me at any time, that can walk me through making a lot of income. And just because I have access to him, that doesn't mean I'm just like, oh, well, I don't know what I'm doing. My thing is people in the company all the time, like, I didn't learn anything on Go Live. I'm like, yo, first of all, you're not actually plugging in to Go Live. That's one. Number two is, are you doing your own due diligence? Because you still need to. It's cutting the learning curve. We're here to cut your learning curve and make you aware of the possibilities of Axie, how to do it, etc., but not to walk you through every single baby step. You got to do your own due diligence of it. But if it wasn't for this company, you wouldn't even be aware of it, right? And that's the point of what we're doing, is to cut the learning curve. So you guys, with that, and again, we can answer questions on that on stuff later. But the other thing we have is going to be Gala, right? And then Jordan, we don't even have to be too long in this, but you guys, this is another game that we're investing in, okay? And you guys, I'm telling you, what me and Jordan are doing is, we see this as, think about it. If you could go buy a country, for example, that's how we're thinking about it. If you could go buy a country, and then you can go buy real estate inside the country. And then on top of that, when you buy the real estate, you can then go own a business inside of that city, right? And you start running multiple streams of income just through one video game. That's essentially what we're doing, and teaching you how to do it, because NFTs is your gateway through that, okay? So Gala is going to be another great thing. Me and Jordan own 2 nodes on Gala, which pays us. And Jordan, if you can actually log in, that'd be lit. Which is another stream of passive income that we're having, okay, or that we have, right? I use a lot of money from Axie to go ahead and stream my my income for Gala as well. That's now giving me a passive income. And then we're going to be investing into Miranda's. And Jordan, you could piggyback off of any of that as well.
Yeah. So I'll answer the 2 questions in the chat. Zed Run I find boring. I don't like simulated games. I feel like it's hype and then die, right? Axie is not simulated. We can hire people to play for us, but it's like a car. It's like you actually play the game. Zed Run is simulated. Plant versus Undead is also simulated once you set it up. So I don't really play either one. But I think Zed Run is boring. I haven't really played Plant versus Undead, but like I said, that's like this Fortified. It's those like tower defense games. You know what I mean? It's like you set up and then it's automated, like where the game runs through. So things like that to me, I don't have not got into. But I do have friends that play both of those. I just never did it. Mirandus. So Gala Games as a whole, right? They're gonna build 12 plus games. But the one game that jumped out to me was Mirandus. And if any of y'all have experience in MMORPGs like World of Warcraft, RuneScape, Guild Wars 2, Amazon's new game, New World, that just came out, which is awesome and addicting, don't play it. If you have any experience in any of those, then you'll understand how I'll describe Mirandus, because what they're doing is they're making a what they're doing is they're making an MMO where players own the cities and players own the buildings within the cities. And so basically what Cash was saying, you're able to own and run a business inside the game, because if so in something like WoW or any of those games, you go up to shops, and I'm gonna pull up this image real quick, but you go up to like a weapon shop or an armor shop or a potion shop, and when you exchange in commerce in that shop, it's ran by an NPC or a non-player character in the game. And so when you give them your gold or whatever the currency is in the game, it disappears. And so what they're doing here is everything is owned and ran by players. If you're brand new to blockchain, that's the specialty of blockchain. That's what it's doing. Is blockchain as a whole is disrupting companies that own everything, and instead it's giving power back to the people to where we actually get to participate in the ownership of it, right? For instance, Facebook, right? They monetize our data. Okay, so what if you got paid for them monetizing your data? That's blockchain, right? And so it's the same thing here with this game. It's like the same thing with Axie. The company, we are creating the cards. We make money with the company. The company is not making all the money, right? They're giving power back to the people. Okay, and so what this game is doing is, I'm gonna bring this up. This is the easiest way to explain it in my head. But you have this. This is the RuneScape game that I was talking to you about earlier, and so you have this city called Varrock. A player inside Mirandus can own that city. They call it a deed. Okay, and so these deeds right now are selling for a lot of money, a lot of money. Okay, this right here is selling for 3 million. Did the other one sell? No, it didn't. Okay, it's right here. So these two are your biggest cities. These are your biggest cities in a video game. So WoW was your childhood. This city equals like Orgrimmar. I was Horde, not Alliance, so I don't know what theirs is. I forgot. It's been so long. But inside that giant city, right? Because there's different size cities. Inside games, there's usually like a big main city where a bunch of people go, and then throughout playing the game, you'll be in like smaller cities and then towns, and then smaller towns, and then outposts and stuff like that. But inside those cities, there's shops. So for instance, there's like taverns and clothing shops and general stores and crafting stores and armor shops and ranging stores, and y'all get what I'm talking about. And yeah, Mirandus will have its own coin. Gala is like gold and silver and then Mirandus coin will be like the US dollar, back when they were on a whatever it's called. I completely got, my mind is blanking. But when the dollar is actually backed by something, right? So the Gala is the backing behind Mirandus's coin that'll come out in the future when the game drops. And so the thought is that players will own buildings inside the cities. So Bob owns a giant city, and now he's got all these people that want to own stores inside his city. So the same way the real world works, if you want to own a stand or a business inside Bob's city, you have to pay Bob rent. And so that's the thought. Or you have connections to Bob and he doesn't charge you anything, right? And so this is where it's going. So you have all these different potion shops and weapon stands, and granary stands, bakery shops, armor shops. Okay, and so people, this is how I envision what's going to happen in this game. So the same way that bots or gold farmers exist in the real world and other games, they're going to exist here, but instead they're going to be like they're going to be working for people like myself, for people like Cash, because what I do is I'll own I own this character right here. Okay, this human goldsmith person or whatever. And so this person gets a bonus in jewelry crafting. Okay, well, this cost, X amount of money, and people somewhere in the world might not be able to afford to get this bonus of jewelry crafting. So guess what? I hire you to come play for me and do whatever you got to do to make whatever their items are going to be in game that require jewelry crafting that give bonuses and stuff that people want. They work and make it for me. We split profits, right? It's like I run a business, but now I've got to line it all up together. So I've got to have people that are going out and farming the things that are needing for jewelry crafting. So, if we're talking in, games that have happened in the past, people are going to go work for you and mine ore, right? And so of course there's going to be free to play characters, or you can use my dude, this guy right here that costs money, that it enhances their efficiency when mining rocks. Okay, so now I can hire, this person over here to go and spend 8 hours a day mining rocks for me. So now I have a business. This person's mining rocks for me. This other person is making jewelry for me. And then my jewelry stand, I don't even think I have that. I have to go buy it one day. But my jewelry stand is being ran, right? So it's the same way that in real life, where you have this line of commerce that eventually gets back to your jewelry stand or your armor stand. You've got all these people that are working for you, right? So you'll be able to monetize inside that game. So you can own the city and charge people rent, or you can own the business inside the city and work it like a commerce. And the same way, if you take care of it better, if you market it better, people will come to you, other people. And so this is the entire concept of a game inside Gala. And so there's plenty of different ways you can make money off of the nodes in the system. You can own the node and make passive income that way. You can make money inside the game, just like we do with Axie, but you do it here. And so this is just all future games that are coming out, but they haven't came out yet. And so this is another example of sitting money. This is basically dead money until it comes out. Or is it? Because remember, we're into flipping items as well, right? And so when you're early to something and you can see that vision or potential, you can end up buying a bunch of one thing. And so that's what I did. I went and bought like 40 different archer stands and a bunch of different other stands, and I sell them on here, and you can slowly make money that way, right? So here you go, archer stands, right? And so I just sell them off every now and then. Eventually someone comes and buys it and I relist it. Bought a bunch of them for like $50 each. Now they're selling for $200 to $250. But it's a way to make your money back while you're waiting for the game to release. Same thing with running the nodes. You're waiting for the game to release, but you can make passive income while the node is being worked on.
And a node, you guys, is like it's technically not, but I'm just going to say it like this. It's like think of it as like a digital miner. So instead of you having to own a machine, just think of it like this. Not technically how it works, but like kind of. But think of it as a digital miner. Instead of you having to own those big ass machines or whatever, and you're having to mine like that, we own a digital node, and we're able to mine Gala like that, and that Gala pays out in USD. So me and Jordan, Dom, etc., Nick, we all have nodes, and we're making a passive income as this node is mining for us. And we can go then use that money to go buy stuff for Miranda's if we want to, or we could withdraw the profits as well. And then the node itself is also going to be an NFT. So now what we can do is if we don't want it anymore or whatever, we'll be able to sell it for probably over $100,000 for sell it back to somebody that wants it. So you'll notice that what me and Jordan really like to do is invest in things that NFTs that are making us a passive income. And then what we can also do is dispose of it and profit off of it if we want to, if we're done with it.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, so I don't know anybody's net worth here, your starting point and stuff like that, but there's a bunch of different ways that you can go to just get your feet in the water and to start going. uh VV is a very cheap way. I saw someone talk about NBA Top Shot. If you like sports and basketball, that's a good one to get experience in. You own moments in the game, so instead of you owning cards, you're owning moments. So it's like, if they slam dunk or shoot a 3-pointer, buzzer beater, stuff like that, you own that moment. Okay, but NFTs are huge. Yeah, they're making football and UFC. UFC will be the one I get into a lot.
And then Jordan, we can do a couple of questions and then start kind of wrapping the call up. But you guys, first of all, Jordan, thank you a lot. And you guys too, I think it's kind of crazy. You look at those some of those lands that Jordan was showing you, like the cities in Mirandus, etc. And it can be mind-boggling to think that, from I am alone, I'm making 50, 60,000 a month, right? And there's things in there that I can't even come close to affording. And I think that you got like that should show you that there's truly levels to this, and that nobody should be comfortable just with a little bit of passive income or whatever. I'm still like, yo, how can I afford this? And Rich Dad Poor Dad, that's what he says is, how can I afford this? And the other thing I'll tell you guys is the one thing I've really learned through the journey that I just really been investing with Jordan and everything is passive income streams are so lit, but the other thing, multiple stream incomes are lit, but the other thing is that there can be a downside to them, or there's also a fear of, is this thing going to hold up, or is there that, right? And that's why having that passive income from IAM, et cetera, and learning how to trade and all these other things, you want all that going on at the same time. That way, if one stream goes down, the other one's working. So these are very good ways for you to make passive incomes, flip money, et cetera. But you also got to remember that in order for you to have a reliable income, there's no such thing as one income being a reliable income. Multiple streams of income gives you a reliable income. So I think that this was a very good thing. Ember Sword, Jordan, were you wanting to show them that?
It's just another pending game that you own virtual land in. So the gameplay is not out yet. But the one thing that I can put out there is NFT gaming will change gaming. We actually will have ownership inside the game in items. And so what a lot of different game developers have done is they're selling plots of land, and you get perks that come with it, whether it's passive income, special access, anything like that. And so this is just another game that's dropping in the future, either into this year or early next year, in beta. And so this is just another way to own it with their land. And the last time that I participated in something like this, I did it with Treeverse. And that can happen. All it takes is these game developers, or I would say these idea developers, to sign with bigger gaming companies. And so that's what they did. Treeverse signed a deal with a gaming company, and that Ember Sword can do the same thing. You know what I mean? So really look at this. Look at it as invest. It's like investing and holding stock. Yeah, we talked about Ecomi or Ecomi or Ami, whatever you want to call it, VV app earlier. But it's the same thing for them, So, look at NFTs as owning stock in a company, but just in a different form. Stocks pay dividends. NFTs can pay dividends essentially too. So it's just a different way of owning and being a part of that project. But we're all in the ground floor of just a new concept way for games to be created. And I think blockchain gaming, or at least NFTs as a whole, I think the gaming side is the biggest side out of all of it. You know, art is subjective. Um, I don't see music being that big except for the creators. Same thing for artists, you know, because art's subjective. But gaming, this solves so many problems for video games. And so that blockchain gaming, I think, is gonna be huge. But yeah, the Omi, same thing. You know, they've got a bunch of partnerships. They've got a huge team, great licensing connections. So they just have all of the right things to actually be able to deliver what they're promising, which is a metaverse and a game and stuff like that. But there's a bunch of them, you know. Uh, this this project right here, non-fungible heroes and weird whales. You know, they were made by the same person. They're wanting to get into the game. Um, who else? These ugly polar bears. They're wanting to get into a game. The question is, will they deliver? That's why I always say you want to break even on projects. You want to make it to where you're comfortable with being able to lose, and then you're breaking even on a lot of projects and you're floating in profits. You know what I mean? It's not like we can TP half of this image. The only way to TP partials is by owning two, you know? And then here's another thing. Do you see the gambling apes? Okay. So their utility is revenue share of their casinos. Okay. But now let's think for a second. What's the project that I talked about earlier that's wanting to open casinos? Atari. Okay. Atari's been working with Sandbox for going on 2 years now, maybe even longer. They also have a casino that's not even functional yet in Decentraland. Okay, we're talking about Atari, the brand Atari. Gambling Apes is wanting to do that too. They don't have a team like Atari. So for them to deliver their concept of casinos is a lot less probable than Atari, right? So obviously we want to be more risk heavy with Atari rather than Gambling Apes, right? You get how we can judge that risk, and this can work. Okay, but you know, perfect example. The concept is beautiful, right? Gambling Ape co-owners or owners co-own a casino in the metaverse. I've never heard of that concept before, right? So I can get behind that hype. But will they deliver? I don't know. I know they talked about delivering in 6 months. That I drop 100 lot on. Definitely not delivering in 6 months. And so with hype comes blowing up projects, right? And so, you know, when this minted or was birthed, it had a lot of hype, but think about what I just said. They're not going to be able to deliver. So, you know, something like this, you know, I bought 3 and I sold 1 for 0.9 something Ethereum. Okay, so that sale broke even and profit on top of the 3 mints or the 3 purchases. And so now I can ride these risk free just in case this goes to 0. Okay, so that's always what you want to, that's always the mindset you want to be in. That's always the strategy that you want, because you just don't know. And it can take a long time for it to hit, you know? Perfect. And then another example, like those treeverse plots, right? This game looked awful, but the concept behind it was smart, you know? So this was a $900 purchase. Now it's worth close to 10K, or it was. Now I don't even know, probably like 7, 8. But same thing, right? You just always want to work. I have 3 of these. Now I have 1. every single pop I've scaled out of. Now I have one just in case whatever comes next. I probably won't hold it if it hits 10 Ethereum, to be honest. Right? But you can just see how, like, you could just see my thought process. I'm not coming in here and blindly holding anything. I'm always working my way out to where I can make smart decisions just in case. You know, and I take losses too. These crypto nades, this was an accident to buy this many. I was only supposed to buy 2, but that's an L. Those are probably worth 0. Right? These alien gods are worth nothing right now too. Crypto Kongs was huge, but I also messed up on this and it could have been worth like a $250,000. Right? So it's like, it just all depends, you know, but you want to do your research. And so hopefully, yeah, the raccoons were funny, but hopefully like me, the rambling that I just did and just how my brain goes and works, that makes sense. You know, at the end of the day, we don't know, but if you play it right, you can manage your risk to where just in case you're always good and you don't go under when things go bad. Okay.
That's good. And then I think that you guys, we're gonna do maybe like 5 questions. And then we can wrap it up. There's about 5 questions that you guys have on anything that we went over on any of the topics. Just make sure. I personally don't do any VV, so I'll be on. I pretty much only do blockchain gaming. So that's the Jordan question.
What's the question?
Did you guys hear about the Rainbow Labbit on VV going to OpenSea? Do you guys think I should sell it or wait till it gets to OpenSea for a better profit? Any thoughts?
So I don't know the chain that'll be on for OpenSea, but if it's ran through Ethereum, those fees are going to be ridiculous.